Okay, so a few weeks ago I saw this picture on the internet and I had to laugh because this little guy here reminded me of myself, always chasing time, or maybe time is always chasing me. So I don't know if you feel like that sometimes, but what we're going to do in this very short clip is give you some advice and help on how to manage your time. So we'll have 3 or 4 slides. We'll give you some different ways of approaching it, and then you can choose out of those which you think is the most effective for you. So the first suggestion for you is to think about discipline. Try to think about the important things you need to do each day and then write them down on a to-do list. Which is the most important task? Which is number 2? Which is number 3? And then try and tackle number 1 first. Secondly, try to motivate yourself. Now, we all sort of hate certain jobs and we all love certain jobs. If you can have a reward at the end of it, if you can have some success at the end of doing a job, that will actually motivate you to actually achieve things that you want to do. So that's also important. And then finally, if we have obstacles to our work, we need to identify them and try and deal with them early on. So find out what the obstacles are. If there are obstacles at work, then perhaps you'll need to talk to someone and get some help to resolve these problems. So that's the first step. And then what we'll do, we've got a little bit more advice here. What we've got here, this thing here, I believe is called an Eisenhower chart. Now this came from the President Eisenhower, and apparently he is the guy behind this. So we have important and urgent, and then we have not important and not urgent, and then we have a mixture of the two. I think we can see very quickly that this one is the most important. So things that are important and urgent, we need to tackle today if we can. Things that are not important, not urgent, maybe we can delete them or get rid of them. So hopefully we get rid of those. These two here are intermediate. Important, not urgent. We really need to plan for them, decide how we're going to tackle them, put them into our list of goals, into our to-do list, decide how we're going to tackle them. We don't have to do them today, but they are important. So they're sort of the ones that we plan for. These ones here are urgent, but they're not important. So it could be an order from a very small customer. We would like to deal with their order if we can, but it's a very small order and they're not terribly important. So maybe you can delegate to one of the staff and get them to sort out this order for you. So what we have here is the important tasks are the ones that have the most benefit to us. And then there are also perhaps the things that involve people or organizations that are important or vital. And the things really that are perhaps long-term or maybe recurring. So if anything falls into one of these 3 categories, we'd say that's actually an important task at the end of the day. Now, okay. What we have here is a little bit more advice from different people over the years on how to manage your time. So we'll start here. Focus on the most important thing. Start one thing and then try to finish it. Now, I saw an interview on the internet a little while ago with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, 2 very successful people. And Bill Gates was asked, what's the most important thing in terms of managing your time? And he said, focus. And then they asked Buffett, what's the most important thing to do for managing your time? And he also said focus. So both of them seem to agree that that's the number one priority. So think about this. What are the very important things that you need to do? Try and finish those before you go on to something else. Number 2, do not avoid things that are difficult. Do not put them off just because they're difficult. Number 3, be organized. Maybe use this ABCD system. Act on something today if you need to act on it today. Bin it if it's not important. Create a list if you have to plan for it. Or maybe if it's less important, delegate it. A, B, C, D. Right, and then we have something here. We have an action plan, list our priorities. That's similar to a to-do list generally at the end of the day. And then finally we have goals. We have a list of goals. Now what we find is this is really more for long-term goals. So they should be smart. They should be specific. They should be measurable goals. They should be attainable. No point writing a goal down that you could never achieve. They should be realistic, and they should be time-bound. So we should know when we are likely to achieve them. Now, looking at this, Alex, do you actually do a to-do list, or how do you sort of tackle your time management? What do you do?
I like working with to-do lists. I find that if I tick everything throughout my day, then I just feel like I feel better at the end of my day.
Yeah.
And then also like it helps me not like procrastinate, because otherwise just do a bunch of other things that have no priorities.
Yeah. So do you have a little celebration when you've done the to-do list? How do you...
Just relax and feel like I just can do whatever I want from then.
Yeah. I mean, it's so nice when it's actually achieved. I feel so happy that I've actually done the things I need to do that day. So, I do that as well. I use a to-do list. I think it's actually very good. So, in fact, all of these are very good. A to-do list is very good. And in my opinion, focus is super important. Try and work out what we need to achieve day to day. So I think Buffett and Gates absolutely nailed it, really. And the other ones are good. If you can achieve or do the other ones, then think about that. So what we'll do a little example here of someone who needs some help from us. And this guy here, Jack, he tends to hand in work late, and there's some problems attached to that. And we've got some possible reasons why he's actually doing this, why he's handing in important work late. So we'll go through this a minute and see if we can identify what the reasons are. First of all, he doesn't use a diary, or he doesn't use a to-do list. So would you say that's a likely problem for this work problem?
It could be a problem because he might not know what's important to do first. So he might do them later, and then that's why he's late.
Yeah, okay, so that's probably one of the problems here, isn't it? And then what we have here, he's a very friendly guy, and he's always wanting to help other staff. And that's a good thing, isn't it? Or is that a bad thing?
Oh, that's a good thing for other people. Not for Jack, I guess. If other people like delegate on him, then he won't have time to do his own important work.
So maybe that's a problem. That's a problem, maybe. So that could be another reason. He gets the bus to work, and sometimes he's late for work and stuff. So,
I mean, my dog ate my homework. That's kind of like the same excuse.
Okay, so I agree with you. So I think you're right. That's not an excuse, really. You should get the bus on time. You shouldn't be late. He works in an open plan office, so it's like quite a noisy, busy open plan office. Is that a fair excuse for not really doing, the important stuff?
Not really, because if you're organized enough with your work, then it shouldn't be a problem, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think that's the reason necessarily, is it? And then finally, he doesn't really like technology. He struggles with technology, and he's not really interested in it. He doesn't want to learn the systems that we have. Is that going to be, a cause of problems here?
That could be a problem, yeah. That could be a cause.
It could be another problem. So I think he needs to do some training there in that case. So yeah, we've got 3 potential areas that are problematic. If we can tackle these 3, we can maybe help him in his job. Now, okay, so I have the SMART system. You may remember this one, we did this earlier. So I'm going to ask Alex again to try and have a go at this. If you'd like to come up and if you go through the SMART system and explain it to us, and what is it?
Sure. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time. It has to have a time bound. I think we got it right.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much. I think you deserve one of these. So that is really good. That is the SMART system. Useful. A lot of people use it. And yeah, if you think it will help you, have a go with that one and see if it's useful for you.